make a short video here. I'll try to make this one short. This is Mark Harris. Greetings, deceivers and non-deceivers. This is Insane Orangutan. And the reason I say that is because I am legally, this is ridiculous. Legally or judicially, I suppose the word would be legally, but it's not really based in law. It's based in a decision a judge made. I'm committed as a lunatic. And the reason I say greetings, deceivers, and non-deceivers, and it's a lie. And the reason I say greetings, deceivers, and non-deceivers is I know that most of you are deceivers. Science, happy Halloween. Science, happy Halloween. People will say trick or treat. The idea is, if you don't give us, and it's around Halloween is why I'm saying this, or is what I'm referring to. People will say trick or treat, and you're supposed to give them a treat so they don't pull a trick on you. Science, I think science is solid. True science, as far as man can know, I think science is solid. But people make up things. They do a trick on you. Global warming. This is where, and people have said, there have been scientists that have said global warming is not real. And people still believe in the lie. And it's the same with evolution, too. We're changing our light bulbs, at least here in the United States. We're not allowed to use the light bulbs we used to be able to use. And we're supposed to do different things, all these different things to save the environment. Even the Pope talked about it. Dinosaurs. What's the evidence of dinosaurs? Somebody said, well, somebody found bones. How do you know they're not made out of plaster or something like that? How do you know that there were dinosaurs? There are no dinosaurs today. There are big lizards, but not like that size. And it's supposed to say the world is millions of years or billions of years old. The interesting thing was, when I was a child, I had a book about dinosaurs. It had a Brontosaurus in it, which scientists are telling us there is no Brontosaurus. They told us there was a Brontosaurus. They told us what he ate, what it ate, and now there is no Brontosaurus. You can look it up. Look up Brontosaurus. Brontosaurus. R-U-S. Brontosaurus. And notice both these things. They said the Earth was was a billion years old, which is a nice round number. It's amazing it's that round. Now they're saying I think then they said the Earth was 4 billion years old. Now they're saying the Earth was 6 billion years old. Does science change? No. Then what they're telling us are lies. Trick or treat. This environmentalist lie, they are the people that are saying that this is true. It's the same people that are putting toxic things in our food and toxic things in our soaps. I read a book called System Sensitive Leadership, which was about Claire Graves' research about different systems people went through. And I'm in a system 6, and that is about health for the environment and health for people and about equality. And so I think about poisons in the food, poisons in the water, poisons in soaps and stuff like that. Everybody's got these scientific, supposedly these pseudoscientific things. It gives a bad name to science because they become issues of debate. Notice this, they have never proved it to me. They have said that it's true, but they have never proved it to me that it's true. They've never proved it to me that it's true. Why do we need to change our cars, and why will they be taxing us for breathing? Taxing us for breathing. It's already known that insects are many times more populous than humans. Why don't we kill all the insects? And the idea is if we killed all the insects, how would we live? Because we need bees to pollinate the flowers. I mean, most of the flowers that are pollinated are probably pollinated by bees and other bugs. So they're telling us this lie. We need to change our lifestyles for this environmentalism thing. The other thing, dinosaurs, they were around millions of years before we were. Where's the proof? It always comes down to, somebody says, this is science. You can't argue with science. We're not arguing with science. We're arguing with scientists or arguing with their claims. We're disagreeing with their claims. It's as simple as that. Evolution or global warming, evolution. Man is really an animal. And these end up being social experiments. It's interesting how these don't just stay, a theory in a book. They're propagated. Somebody had said one time, there was a magazine that said, we disproved God. It said, basically, we disproved God. And somebody else who was an atheist that I listened to on the internet one time, I didn't know he was an atheist, I just clicked on it, and he said, we can't prove whether there's a God or not. They said they disproved God. The same thing with Jesus. I just recently read a book. They say there's no historical proof of Jesus other than what was written in the scriptures. That's another lie. I just read a book about that took from primary sources. Jesus wrote a letter, and we have that letter today. And because I can tell it is a holy letter, I know it's true. A book called Eusebius, also Josephus. Josephus wrote about Jesus. So the lie, and he was telling this lie, this same atheist that said we could not, we had no proof that Jesus actually lived other than the stories about him in the Bible. That's baloney. The Romans had records. Whether we have them or not, it's hard to know. I mean, you're getting stuff that has been filtered down, and people decide what they want to tell you and what they don't want to tell you. People said Pontius Pilate never existed, and they dug up something that said it had Pontius Pilate on it. So we're getting a mixture of information. They're giving us truth mixed with lies, which the Bible said. Those are four things: global warming, evolution, and things like that. God has been disproven. How can you disprove God? I mean, just think about that. There's plenty of evidence that he's here. There's plenty of evidence that he created this world. Jesus doesn't have any evidence that he was here. People are thinking about this stuff, and it's not true. I'm trying to think of something else maybe. Psychiatry. Psychiatry is, you would say psychiatry is a science. But let me tell you what they do. What they do is they sit you down, they look at a police report. If the police report says that you were doing anything abnormal, the psychiatrist looks at that and says you have a mental illness based on a police report. And I've looked at a police report before because I asked for a copy of it that said I was drunk. It said I was in jail, stayed in jail until the next day, and it said too drunk to appear. This is a type of information that psychiatrists go off of, police reports and stuff like this. And what about, psyops? Have you heard about psyops? That's where they use psychology to make people do things they don't want to do, which is what happened to me. They use psyops with me. another lie is that, we were against the Nazis. If we were against the Nazis, Operation Paperclip, why were we hiring Nazis? I guess that's not science exactly. But psychiatry, I mean, it's baloney. It's absolute baloney. If you do something that's aberrant, somebody will say that you got a mental illness or something. It's completely baloney. I think science is legitimate. I haven't told people this, but I probably would have been an excellent mathematician because I took calculus and I could almost fall asleep in it and still get a good grade, and still get a pretty good grade. I studied Portuguese, which I think was harder than math. And, I could have been a mathematician. I don't think it's that hard. I think math is very easy. It kind of differs. Some people think math is very easy. Some people think math is very hard, and they might be good at, and they're good at other things. Anyway, evolution or global warming. There are people that they tried to silence when they came out with this theory of global warming. Now it's become a social issue. That's a big marker. Evolution, global warming, psychiatry. When they come out to you and say, these things are facts, you have to ask the question which every good scientist should ask. Why should I believe you? Why should I believe you? Do you have proof? Can you give me proof? And a psychiatrist just goes off information he's heard other people say and makes a diagnosis or continues to treat someone. It's not based in science. A lot of this stuff floating around, I might not be able to think of all of it, but this stuff, psychiatry is baloney. If a psychiatrist talks to you and says, have you been sad for 2 weeks? Bingo, you got depression. Where's the scientific proof for that? As a matter of fact, just like the Brontosaurus, homosexuality used to be considered a mental illness. Then they took it off the list for mental illnesses. Does science change? It's the same thing when somebody says, I think somebody has a mental illness. There's no proof. Craziness is from what people do. If people act crazy, they're crazy. It's not that complicated. You cannot do you cannot look at someone, a psychiatrist cannot look at someone scientifically and say they have a mental illness. It is baloney. And this video lasted longer than I thought it would. It is baloney. There is no proof to it. I can definitely tell you there's no proof to psychiatry. If you act crazy because the government has been involved or whatever, trying to get you into a mental institution, which is what they try to do with me. It started out, it started out, I was taken into a mental hospital. I think some people in my church made some affidavits and signed some affidavits, and I got thrown into a mental institution, and I wouldn't talk with a psychiatrist. I thought say nothing and you won't get into trouble. That's what I thought. I thought that you have the right to remain silent. So I didn't talk with a psychiatrist. And a lot of times, in my experience, the psychiatrist will walk in, he won't introduce himself as a psychiatrist, and you think you're just ignoring somebody who works there, and you find out it's a psychiatrist, and he's told you. That's what happened to me. I didn't talk to a psychiatrist. I had paranoid schizophrenia, undifferentiated type. It's baloney. There's another word for it.